Please recite a salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ajjal farajah. أعوذ بالله سميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ونعم المولى ونعم النصير بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على الرسول السكنين محبوب رب المشرقين والمغربين جد الحسن والحسين أبو القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين والمعصومين والمظلومين وعلى لعنة الله دائم أجمعين أذهب الله إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا اللهم صل على رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي سنقرئك فلا تنسى رب زدني علما وعملا صلوات أما بعد قال سبحانه وتعالى في قرآن المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا آتيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's start off with reciting a Fatiha Mubarakah in the honor of Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra, in the 14 Masumin and all the Marhumeens. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I also would like to start off with reciting the Ayat-e Mubarakah Amma Yujibu for all the wounded, sick and suffering brothers and sisters, especially in Palestine and around the globe in our community. Let's recite 5 times Amma Yujibu for the removal of all these afflictions and for the removal of all the difficulties. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibu mustarra izada wa yaksifu su. Amma yujibu mustarra izada wa yaksifu su. Amma yujibu mustarra izada wa yaksifu su. أما يجيب مستر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء أما يجيب مستر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء صلوات الله. First of all, I stand here with immense gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all the Aima and the Holy Household for giving me this opportunity to speak for this honorable lady. And I also want to thank Brother Subhani to extend an invitation to speak on this to commemorate this occasion. And thank you to all of you for attending the majlis on site and online. And second, we want to offer on the behalf of everyone else, condolences to the Holy Prophet, Amir al-Mu'mineen, and all the Aima and Ahlul Bayt on this sad occasion in the household for the martyrdom of Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra, Sayyidatun Nisa al-Alameen. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajal faraj. So, my talk today, my speech, majlis today, I wanted to go a couple things. First of all, I want to start off with the introduction of Fatimiyya, Ayam Fatimiyya. What is Ayam Fatimiyya? Because always, like, I test my kids, ask my kids, and it gives me a good idea that they have no clue and they forget. I tell them every year and they still forget it. And I always like to start with basics ABC. What is Ayam Fatimiyya? And then what is the significance of Fatimiyya? And then I want to discuss a few merits of Hazrat Fatimah al-Zahra. And the next thing I want to talk about Tasbihat Fatimah al-Zahra and Salawat Fatimah al-Zahra, and a little bit about Sermon of the Fadak, a very historical sermon given by the Bibi, and I'm going to end by the Messiah, inshallah. I'm going to try to stay on time, inshallah. First of all, what is Ayam Fatimiyya? So it's, always good to go over the basics so that our kids, these things imprint in their mind. So Ayam means days. The days we commemorate the martyrdom of the beloved daughter of our Holy Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wa alihi Muhammad, sallallahu salli ala Muhammad. Fatimah al-Zahra, Sayyidatun Nisa al-Alameen are called the Ayam Fatimiyya. We observe these days to mourn the distressing circumstances surrounding the martyrdom of the Sayyida in her unborn son in her womb, Hazrat Mohsin, during the attack on her house after the demise of the Holy Prophet. These days are 20 in number. When do they start? When do they end? And so question can be asked, why don't we, just like all the other holy personalities, why don't we commemorate just one day of her shahadat? And why do we have to commemorate 20 days? So number one, first of all, when do these Ayam Fatimiyya, days of Fatimiyya start? They start from the 13th of Jamadiul Awwal and go up till 3rd of Jamadiul Sani. These are 20 days. And how do we come up with these 20 days? Why do they start from 13th of Jamadiul Awwal and how do they end on 3rd of Jamadiul Sani? So it goes by that the majority of the narrations that we have, that Bibi Sayyida died 75 days or 95 days after the death of the Holy Prophet. Nobody knows exactly sure because there's a reason for it. Our Aimah Tahirin knew about it, but they did not disclose it. They did not tell us because it's a secret of Allah. So the majority narrations that goes 75 days, the Prophet died on 28th Safar al-Muzaffar. So if you add 75 days, that becomes 13th Jamadiul Awwal. And the next most common narration is 95 days, and that ends on 3rd of Jamadiul Sani. So that's how these Ayam Fatimiyya have been allocated from 13th of Jamadiul Awwal to 3rd of Jamadiul Sani. And her life, we think that we know a lot about her, but the fact of the matter is that nobody has the complete marafa of the Bibi. We do not know exactly what day she died. We do not know exactly where she's buried. There are three places, most by consensus, that she's either buried inside her home, inside the Hujjah, inside the Masjid al-Nabi, or she is buried in Riyazul Jannah. That is the place between the house of the Prophet and the member. It's a green carpet area. It's called Riyazul Jannah. Reciting a salat there is equivalent to 1,000 rakat. Now, before that, it was always a chaos. No matter what time of the day or the year you go, it was always very difficult to get Riyazul Jannah, to pray in Riyazul Jannah. Now you have for the last 2 years, I've heard that maybe the brothers know better. Now they launched an app, so you have to apply a day before in the app, and they'll tell you this is the time you can come in and pray here. So that place is very, very sacred place. And the third place is the Jannatul Baqi. And that's also a lot of people think that she's buried in Baqi because that's where next to her Imam al-Hassan, Imam al-Hassan, Imam Zainul Abidin, Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, she's buried next to her sons in either Jannatul Baqi. She's buried inside her hujra, inside the like very close to the Prophet, or she's buried in Riyazul Jannah, but nobody knows exactly where she is buried. So there's a narration that goes that one of our ulama, Ayatollah Marshi Najafi, who started the Hawziya Ilmiya in Qumran, in there's a lot of narrations from him that he had met a couple of times Imam Zamana, and he gave the advices. They're publicly available, the advices that Imam Zamana gave him. So he insisted one time to Imam Zamana during his meeting with him, and said that I want to know where my grandmother is buried. And the 12th Imam asked, why do you want to know? He says, no, I want to go and do ziyarah of the grave of my grandmother. And he says, I can't tell you because it's a secret of Allah. And when Allah will allow, only then I can disclose it. For in the meanwhile, this is a secret. For you to go do ziyarah of Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra, you should go to the shrine of Bibi Masuma Kum. And if you do ziyarah there, it's just like you do the ziyarah of your grandmother Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra. Salli ala Muhammadin. So it's a secret of Allah, and it's the same way. I mean, if you look at her husband, Amir al-Mu'mineen, when Imam Ali was buried, nobody knew where exactly he was buried. It's only after 150 years, in the time of Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, and Harun Rashid. Harun Rashid was, on a campaign for hunting, and he noticed that his dogs don't move anymore forward. He tried, he kicked them off, he hurt them badly, but the dogs won't move to a cliff. They don't go beyond that. So his advisors finally says, how can we find the solution to this? There's something here. And so his advisor told to ask Imam Jafar Sadiq, and Imam Jafar Sadiq, then disclosed that this is the place where the grave of my grandfather is here. So after 150 years, we discovered the grave of Amir al-Mu'mineen, but it has been 1450 years. We haven't discovered the grave of Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra, and when Allah will, then we will know, inshallah. Please recite a salawat. So quickly about Fatimiyya, we're talking about, beginning of Fatimiyya, if you will think about that in your childhood, you never had Ayyam Fatimiyya. In our center, and I remember exactly because I grew up here too, kind of like, it's been so many years. We started commemorating in our center. It was 2014, the first time we started commemorating Fatimiyya. And the history, where and who started these Fatimiyya. And there's one personality who's still alive. and the major credit goes to him, is Ayatollah Wahid Khorasani. Ayatollah Wahid Khorasani, back in 2004, and I think brother would know that, President Muhammad Khatami was the president. He came to Qom and requested that he wants to meet Ayatollah Wahid Khorasani. Ayatollah Wahid Khorasani declined his invitation. His request that I don't want to meet you. He insisted, said, "Can I meet with you?" He was concerned. He was worried about some affairs. So Ayatollah Wahid Khorasani extended him a condition. Says, "I will meet with you on one condition, and that condition is that I want you to declare 3rd Jamadi-Usani as a national holiday in Iran." He asked, "Why do you want 3rd of Jamadi-Usani as a national holiday in Iran? Why?" He said, "This is the day of the shahadat of my grandmother. Our grandmother, Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra." So President Khatami, he accepted it. And then, they met and, had conversation. And so later on, the students asked of Ayatollah Wahid Khorasani, "Why were you so insistent? Why did you want this thing?" So he gave a very interesting reply. He said that by instituting a government holiday to commemorate the martyrdom of Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra, I have bought the insurance policy for Shiaism in Iran. Where Muhammad Ali Muhammad Salawat. And the same year, Ayatollah Wahid Khorasani and another marja along with him. In the middle of the day, around close between Zuhur and Asr time, it was very, very hot. Ayatollah Gul Pagani. Both of them, they started walking towards this shrine of Bibi Masumah Qum. And the whole Qum started walking with them while lamenting. It was a procession for the martyrdom of Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra. And from that year, it's now official. The Ayyam Fatimiyya, the 20 days in Iran, whether it's here, I would say that the whole country looks like it's in black. People wear black clothes. And you will see that in Muharram, the first 10 days, people wear black. But in Fatimiyya, the people wear 20 days. Black clothes. There is black banners on all the harams, all the Imamzada shrines, all small or big shrines. There is even the airports. Tehran airport, which is a little bit modern than the others one, but I myself in 2019, I was there during the days of Fatimiyya, and I saw that everywhere there was black banners in the offices and everywhere. The whole country looks like everybody's wearing black. So it was commemorating, was like Subhanallah. But Muhammad Ali Muhammad Salawat. So I'm going to move on to, time is ticking, and quickly to merits of Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra. The Ahlul Bayt has advised us that whenever our Shias gather, do remember our fazails, our merits. It carries a lot of sawab. On the other hand, you can argue that, we know these merits, we've heard them so many times. We should talk more about practical, but still it's a big ibadah to remember the merits of Ahlul Bayt when Shias gather. So I want to start off with the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala. That there are 4 greatest women in this universe, in the Jannah and in this universe. Number 1 is Khadija bint Khuwailid, was his first wife. Number 2, Fatima bint Muhammad, his daughter. Number 3, Asiya bint Mazahim, the wife of Pharaoh. And number 4, Maryam bint Imran, the mother of Hazrat Isa. These 4 women have the highest station in the universe, and all the women in the universe, and in all the hurs and the women in Jannah. But still, the grandest station goes to Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra. She is declared as Sayyidat Nisa'ul Alameen. Salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. So if you, the title for Bibi Khadijatul Kubra, because all the wives of the Prophet we call Ummul Mu'mineen. So she's Ummul Mu'mineen. But Fatimah al-Zahra is Ummul Aima. She's the mother of 12 Imams. And it was always an honor for the Aima Tahireen to call them son, Ya Jabne Fatimah al-Zahra. Yeah, just like Jabne Rasulullah. They always like that. And one of the secrets that has given to us, like sometimes you feel like I'm praying to Imam Zamana and I don't feel like he's responding to me, or I'm not feel like. So one of the prescription that has given to us to call the Imam of our time is Jabne Fatimah al-Zahra. Call our Imam by this name, by this title. And he responds. War Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. So if you look at Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra, she has a very unique status. If you look at her father, is Sayyid al-Qatim al-Nabiyyin, Sayyid al-Mursaleen, the seal of 124,000 prophets. I mean, there is no big personality. After Allah, after God, the highest station belongs to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Her father is seal of the 124,000 prophets. Her husband is Sayyid al-Wasiyyin, Sayyid al-Asiya, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali. Her sons are Sayyid al-Shabab Ahl Jannah, Hassan and Hussain. And she has daughters, Kulsum and Bibi Zainab. Their most lowest title is the Mu'allama, Alama Ghair Mu'allama, the Mu'allama which are not taught by any tutor. And we know all of Bibi Zainab's their contributions, the message of Karbala. We are Shia, we are commemorating Imam Hussain because of her. So, War Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. So nobody has, even if you look at the Khadija al-Kubra, she doesn't have a father like that, a sons like that, or husband, it's a unique status that Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra has. There's only one personality in the universe, and it's only her. So, we in Quran, Allah declared Prophet Muhammad as Rahmatul lil Alameen. Inna arsalnaka illa rahmatul lil Alameen. We sent you as a rahmat for the whole universe. When a daughter is born, it's called rahmat of Allah. And when you have a son born, it's called name of Allah. So a personality who's a rahmat for the rahmatul lil Alameen is only one, is Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra. Salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. In another fazail, very common that you've heard that anytime Bibi comes to visit Prophet or come to meet Prophet Muhammad, he would get up from his seat, kiss her hands, and offer her own seat where he was sitting. This was the respect of only for Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra, nobody else. The Prophet every time used to get up from his place, kiss her hands, and make her sit in his place and sit next to her. And if you think that when Prophet would stand up, the 124,000 Prophet would also stand up. So only personality where Prophet Muhammad and 124 Anbiya would stand up is Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali. So there's a lot of narrations of, Prophet called Fatima is my liver, Fatima is my heart, but he never said, the biggest one is called Fatima Bazatu Minni. Fatima is a part of me, not part of my heart, part of my liver. She's part of me. She's a part of Risala. And that's how in Hadith al-Qasa, she's been introduced. When Prophet comes to her home and says, I'm feeling, tired and sick, and that's how he replies, Bazut minni. And I think one of the very common, merit that's every time due to be mentioned is the Ayat Mubahila that came in and says, فَقُلْ تَعَالُوا نَدْعُوا أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ وَأَنفُسَنَا وَأَنفُسَكُمْ. This was the Christians of Najran. The Prophet had argument, and they were insistent that they were correct and Prophet was not right. And the ayat came, says, do mubahila with them, call for Allah's curse whoever is wrong. And this ayat says, go bring your sons and we will bring our sons. We will bring your woman, we'll bring our woman. And you bring your nafs and we'll bring our nafs. And who did Prophet take? For all the women the Prophet had at that time, this happened. Mubahila happened in the 10th Hijrah, a year before the Prophet died, 9th Hijrah or 10th Hijrah. And Prophet had 9 wives at that time. He did not take any other wife. He only took Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra. And for the sons, he took Hassan and Hussein. And for the nafs, he took Amir al-Mu'mineen. So this is a huge, I think, Fazail, Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra. And I think it's every day that we recite this Fazail, every gathering that when we read Hadith al-Qasa, when all the 5 personalities have gathered underneath the cloak, and Jibreel asks, فَقَالَ الْأَمِينَ جِبْرَائِيلِ يَا رَبَّ وَمَنْ تَحْتَ الْكِسَى. Oh Allah, who's under this cloak? فَقَالَ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. The Almighty answered, أَهْلُ بَيْتِ النُّبُوَّةِ وَمَعْدَنُ الرِّسَالَةِ. They are the household of the Prophet and the assets of the prophethood. Hum Fatimatu wa abuha wa baluha wa banuha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa alim. They're Fatima, her father, her husband, and her 2 sons. And you would always wonder, why would not God introduce, say, this is Muhammad is under the cloak, and his daughter, his son-in-law, and his 2 sons. No. Allah chose Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra to introduce Prophet Muhammad, to introduce Ali, to introduce Hassan and Hussein. And that's a big merit that goes for Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra, that she is the mean of introduction. And of course that, we had that during this, under the flow of the ayat tathir, innama bismillahir rahmanir innama yuridullahu liyuzhiba ankum ar-rijsa ahlal bayt wa yutahhirakum tathira. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. This ayat of tathir that came in under the cloak, it made all these 5 personalities infallible. That's in Quran. The declaration of the infallibility by ayat tathir is in Quran. So there are a lot of titles, Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra, and names that are almost like the ulamas have counted 99 names for her. One of the names that's very popular, that I really like, is that, and people get surprised, wow, is her title of Umme Abiya, mother of her father, mother of her father. Prophet Muhammad called her Umme Abiya, give her the title of Umme Abiya. Every time Prophet come back for propagating the religion or doing whatever the things, he'll come back home and Bibi Fatimah al-Zahra will take care of him. If he's injured, he will, clean his wounds, put dressings on. If he's hungry, he'll give him water to drink, food to eat. He'll take care of him just like a mother. And the Prophet had, this title was given to her when Prophet went to Taif for propagating the religion of Islam. And he got stoned very badly. He came back home very bleeding. And Bibi Fatimah Zahra took very good care of him. And he was so happy, and he looked at her and says, "You are Umme Abiya." That title, this was given to her at the event of the torture of the Taif that the Prophet was propagating. So now I'm getting towards the end of the Fazail, and there's one Hadith Qudsi. And I think this is also very huge, and I'm sure you heard this before. And this Hadith Qudsi is, Ya Ahmadu, Laula lama khalaqta al-aflaq, wa laula aliyun lama khalaqta, wa laula Fatima lama khalaqtukuma. O Ahmad, had it not been for you, I would not have created this universe. And hadn't it been for Ali, I would not have created you. And hadn't it not been for Fatima, I would not have created both of you. I think I'm getting close to the last merit of Bibi Fatima that I'm going to mention tonight is another hadith by Imam Hassan al-Askari. Nahnu hajjajullahu ala khalqi wa jattuna Fatima alayhi assalamu hajjatullahi alayna. We Imams are Allah's hujjah upon you and all the creation in this universe. And our grandmother Fatimah Zahra is hujjah upon us. So, like Imam has so much big special status, how high status upon us. He's hujjat upon us. But for them, hujjat, Bibi Fatima, their grandmother is hujjah upon them. In a very interesting, so the merit that I want to mention with this hadith is that she holds a status of called master key. In a hotel, we have a lot of rooms, maybe 200, 200, whatever. Every room has a key. But the hotel owner has a master key that can open any room. She has the status of that master key. When any hajat where you don't get, accepted, through her tawassul, you can accomplish that hajat. That's how. And even, Imam, the narration we have that Imam Baqir, when he used to get fever and sick, in his hujra, he will say, Ya Zahra, Ya Zahra, Ya Zahra. His family, Bihar and Mar, we have this, Imam would remember his grandmother, tawassul, for his sickness. Ya Zahra, Ya Zahra, Ya Zahra. For Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Now I'm going to talk about, I was actually here last weekend, so I read a salat in the afternoon after the Sunday school, and so I got the idea that I want to talk about this topic because observation. So I said, I think, and I'll tell you that it applies to me because I saw it, and that coming, I still have this Tasbih Zahra that I want to talk about, because I have a little definition that I'm still trying to catch up on this one, and I'll tell you what it is. So, Tasbih Zahra, this is a tremendous gift to us. And this background that, one day Bibi Zahra went to her father and says, Dad, I am very tired from the chores of the house. And my husband is all the time on jihad. I have no help. Can you give me a servant? Prophet listened to her. And after a couple minutes, he says, Oh, daughter, let me give you something better than what you asked. And that's at that time, Prophet gave her this Tasbih Zahra, we referred to. 34 times Allahu Akbar, 33 times Alhamdulillah, 33 times Subhanallah. And the way this mentioned that I really like, is like that Fatima was pleased when her father gave her this tasbih, she was pleased with it. Because if I try to if my kids come ask me and I give this and says, Dad, I'm not asking this. You're not giving what I asked you. So, this was like very like, wow, what obedience. Like she was pleased with it. And by the way, she, her household, like she was not cooking for Ali and Hassan and Hussein and Zainab. There was so much infaq that she used to do. There were so many people that she used to cook for. Her lunch would be given to 20 other people who have nobody to take care of them. And so anyway, so this tasbih al-Zahra is, if there is something better, zikr, Prophet would have given to her. That's how we believe that this is one of these best zikr that he gave it to his daughter. So there is one thing that you want to see the maximum effect of this tasbih al-Zahra, that it's advised to us that we should recite this tasbih immediately upon the completion of salah, without changing your posture, without moving your feet, without moving your leg. It's highly recommended to recite this in the position that you just finished the tashahhud and salam, in the same posture, immediately recite. And when you recite this tasbih immediately upon the completion of the salah, this has a special excellence, which is not there otherwise. That's what Imam Jafar Sadiq quoted on this thing. And the beautiful narration that it like nails it down for us for the significance of this tasbih. Imam Jafar Sadiq said, we command our children, we teach our children to do this tasbih just as we command them to pray. The emphasis on prayer is as much as on this tasbih. Is Imam saying. So as a Shia in this, it's very important, like, it's a habit. I'll tell you something coming up, because I was not given that thing and I'm still struggling with that habit. So but it's very important for us and our kids, especially we're here when we're praying here, that we take 1 minute to do tasbih al-Zahra after salat. Because we're always busy, in home, and there's something, running and catching. But it's, if you develop this habit, then you won't let it go. What does this tasbih does? Okay, so number one, what is the merit? This tasbih will save you from misfortunes and is loved by Allah, that is loved so much by Allah that it's equivalent to reciting 1,000 rakat of salat. So remember, this is a mustahab thing. Salat is a wajib. Tasbih al-Zahra is mustahab. But the thing is that in salat, we're never sure our salat is accepted or not. The moment we stand in salat, there's ideas coming, this thing coming, and end of the salat, you say, Ya Allah, forgive me. The shaitan occupies me, and we're never sure our salat is accepted. But when you have this mustahab amal, that can give you a reward of 1,000 salats. It takes less than a minute and saves you misfortunes. And Imam said that Imam Jafar Sadiq gave another hadith. He said, reciting this tasbih before going to sleep, one who recites the tasbih of Zahra at the time of going to bed, he will be accounted among those who have remembered Allah a lot. Zikran kasira. In Quran, Allah says, do zikr, do a lot of zikr, do zikr kasira for Allah, of Allah. And what is that zikr kasira? How much? What was the number? But Imam gave us this prescription here. If you do this tasbih before going to sleep, after wajib salat and before going to sleep, you will be counted on the day of judgment among the people who have remembered Allah in abundance. And I have tested this thing. So anytime you are extremely tired, for example, common things is like you have an event at your home, I have a majlis or gathering in your home. And by the time 12 o'clock at night, you are dead. You're winding up the dishes and cleaning up. You're dead tired. You go to bed at, night, says you have to go to work tomorrow. Oh my God, my legs are exhausted. Recite this tasbih. You will not be you'll be fresh in the morning. You will not be very tired. So this is one of the I wanted to give this, this is, to me, this is almost like we have these prescriptions, we have this very simple thing. So the thing that I was going to tell you that I'm struggling with this in this age, Imam Jafar Sadiq said, after reciting this tasbih, 34, 33, 33, end it with say, La ilaha illallah. If you say this, all your sins will be forgiven. Because I found this a couple years ago and I still struggle. Only maybe one time in a day because I'm doing my tasbih and do the next, thing, and I forget this last thing, La ilaha illallah. So that's what my point was, is that if you implement in your kids now, it will have, becomes a habit that they're going to recite tasbih al-Zahra after salah, immediately after salah. And one of the preparations for that, doing this tasbih habit, that when you pick up the Sayyida, pick up the tasbih. You come to the mosque, you will not forget it. Because that's your part. You're going for salat, you picked up the Sayyida and you picked up the tasbih. You gotta do it. Mar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Another gift I thought that, I wanna, running close to my time, is, does anybody know about the Salawat Fatimah? So I thought that it's also a gift for us. It's a huge gift. And that salawat is Allahumma salli ala Fatimata wa abiha wa baliha wa baniha wa sirrul mastawde fiha bi adade mahata bi ilmuka. Oh Allah, send blessing on Fatima and her fathers, and her husband, and her sons, by the secret installed in her, which is in your knowledge. We alluded before that, it's her personality. Nobody knows in complete. It's a secret of Allah. We know a little bit. But this salawat, so I'll tell you, this Ayatollah Marshi Najafi, he never recited, this was the first thing that we learned from his Dawai Qanut. In his Qanut, he always recite Salawat Fatima. He never read a salat. He said that I never read a salat after my youth, that I did not recite in Qanut Salawat Fatima. So I'm going to tell you two things. If you feel like, just like, it's a very simple trick. When we all struggle with, Muharram, that our spirituality goes to peak and after that it starts declining. So a prescription has been given to us that recite this Salawat Fatima only three times before Fajr. If you recite 3 times, it'll help you boost your spirituality. Second thing is, if you have any hajat, you're struggling with, it's not getting fulfilled, recite this salawat. Either if it's a small, recite 135 times. If it's very big, recites 580 times this salawat. Inshallah, your hajat will be accepted. You will see the fulfillment of your hajat. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. I'm running short in time, so I just want to quickly move. What is the importance of, why did we talked about a little bit importance of Ayatollah Wahid Khorasani. They took this and established the commemoration of Fatimiyya. So what is the importance of commemorating Fatimiyya? So just few couple points. Fatimiyya is called Batin of Karbala. So here's the thing. We say that Saqifa, the event of Saqifa, where they usurp the right of Amir al-Mu'mineen and make somebody else the Khalifa, Saqifa led to Fatimiyah, and Fatimiyah led to Karbala. The same enemies, their progeny. So what does Fatimiyah? Fatimiyah removes the veil from the faces of the enemies. So you know who's on the haqq and who's on the batil. You know the companions, because of this Fatimiyah, it highlights. And we have many, many people, Sunnis, when they heard the events of Fatimiyah in our back home country, they converted to Shia. They got mad. They went to their alim, says, tell me, did the daughter of the Prophet go to the court? Did a Khalifa took her right away? Is that true? And their alim says, oh, you're misguided by Shia. No. Say, no, just tell me the truth. Did daughter of the Prophet go to the court? They said, yes. He says, hell with you. I'm becoming a Shia. We have so many conversions just because of Zahra. And she's the, first one who protected the Walaya. She gave her life to protect Amir al-Mu'mineen. And Ayatollah Wahid Farasani said that whoever tries to undermine Fatimiyah, it's like he has weakened the back of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For in his eyes, it's so much important. And that's how he calls Fatimiyah, commemoration of Fatimiyah, as an insurance policy for Shiaism in Iran. So just quickly go over, after the death of the Prophet, Imam Ali with his companion, with a few righteous companions, they were busy in fulfilling the rites of the burial of the Prophet, while these Ansar and Muhajirin, they were arguing, fighting, voting in the Saqifa, and, selected someone else. You know that even though the Ghadir happened just 2 months ago, 18th Zilhajjah, and this is 29th Safar. Only 2 months before Ghadir happened. And in Ghadir, remember, Rasulullah just didn't like, Man kunta mawla fahadun alina mawla. No, he just didn't say that. He made everyone to say, take allegiance onto Amir al-Mu'mineen. And you know what? Even the woman took allegiance. How would you say the thing, how can a woman put a hand on the hand of Amir? No. You know what he did? They put a big container of water and says the women will put their finger in, and there's one finger of Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is how the women took allegiance. They were who were present in Ghadir. And they override that. They forgot about that and selected somebody else. And so after that, Abu Bakr, he became, and he wanted to, and his other friends, Umar and Usman, and they were like, they sent a message to Amir al-Mu'mineen to pay the allegiance to Abu Bakr, and Amir al-Mu'mineen refused. And at that time, he was also fulfilling a prophet with a promise with the Prophet that he will not leave the house until he compiles the Quran. So they were really threatened. They were threatened that if Amir al-Mu'mineen doesn't take the oath of allegiance, this Khilafat of yours is not going to run, is not going to go anywhere. So, they created a group who came to the door, and Bibi responded to that call, knock on the door. And they still did not honor that, and Bibi introduced herself. I'm the daughter of the Prophet. And then they gathered more people, they gathered wood and put a fire on the door and kicked that door. And the door fell on the Bibi, and she was trapped between a wall and the door. This injury was so lethal that it resulted in the miscarriage of her third son in her womb. In one other thing that I always see that, Amir al-Mu'mineen was still inside the house. And his whole life, Amir al-Mu'mineen cried and cried. And there was people asked about, like, what is the most difficult time for a man? And Amir al-Mu'mineen replied that when you have power, you are strong, and you can take revenge. And somebody tortures your wife and you don't take a revenge. That is a very, very difficult time for a man. You know, it's not like Palestine, like, you know, these people are, they don't have weapons. These Israelis are so powerful. They have the state-of-the-art equipment. Amir al-Mu'mineen, you know, he had the power. He could, Umar ibn Awad, a man equivalent 1,000 men, warriors, he killed him. He killed Marhab. And, you know, the most difficult part is that you live, Allah, see how the test of Amir al-Mu'mineen, that Allah did not allow him to leave that city. Every day he would see the killers of his wife walking in the city of Medina. And he never took revenge. How much torture? The one thing that I want to tell you, that this year, I realized that there is another Messiah of not only Amir, you know, this is a Masibah of the Amir al-Mu'mineen, but I've never heard, but I realized this because I read one line, that this incident of door was happening. Hassan was out, Imam al-Hassan was outside the door, outside the house, and Imam Hussein was inside the house. So I said, oh my God, how did Imam Hassan and Hussein all their life, you know, they saw their torture being happen to their mother in their own home. You know, if something happens like that, you know, we would have like PTSD or something like this. You know, we cannot survive. We'll go to, you know, the ordinary man, they cannot survive. All their life, Hassan and Hussein, they would have flashbacks. People hitting their mom crying. And look at that, you know, these people, the Masaiba Bibi, there is so much Masiba of the Bibi. You know, immediately after death of the Prophet, Bibi used to cry in the remembrance of her father. And the people of the Medina will complain, oh Ali, please ask your wife, either cry in the daytime or cry at the nighttime. And the Amir al-Mu'mineen built a Baitul Huzn in the Baqi, so that she can go in the daytime and cry in Jannatul Baqi, so other people are not disturbed. How cruel these people were. And imagine, like, you know, the daughter of the Prophet was not tortured or killed by Christians or Jews. It was killed by Muslims and the very close companion of the prophets. I think I'm going over time. So, Allah la'natullahi qawm az-zalimin, inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. We ask by the right, by the way, these nights are very sacred nights. These nights of, our ulamas tell that these nights of Fatimah are very sacred night. Why? Because, you know, throughout the year, we commemorate Shahadat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, we commemorate Shahadat of Imam Hussein, all the 12 Imams. And Bibi comes, we have rawayats, we have narrations, and we have beliefs that Bibi comes on all these events of the martyrdom of her sons. She makes sure that they are remembered, they are commemorated. And she prays, people who cry on Imam Hussein or any of her son, she prays for them. She fulfills their hajat. And I can tell you that these nights, if these 12 sons, 11 sons, and her husband and her father would come in this, make sure this commemoration of their mother and the Prophet will make sure that her daughter's commemoration take place, and they would accept the hajat, the people who come for the commemoration of Fatimiyah, of their daughter. So we ask by the right of this Allah to accept this small ibadah. And all the people who are present fulfill their hajat. and make peace for all the Muslims and the followers of Ahlul Bayt in Palestine and everywhere in the world. Matame Hussein.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.